Right now, 68 million people are eating at McDonald's. It's a $219 billion empire with 44,000 restaurants. But the two brothers who built it, they died with almost nothing, because the man the world calls the founder actually stole it. This is the most ruthless business takeover in American history. And here's the terrifying part. It was completely legal. By the end of this video, you'll know the exact contract loopholes he used, the billion-dollar handshake deal he allegedly broke, and the secret business model that has nothing to do with burgers. The McDonald's story isn't what you think. And what Ray Kroc did to the real founders will change how you see success forever. 1940. Two brothers from New Hampshire are broke. Richard and Maurice McDonald spent 5 years running a dying movie theater in California, barely surviving, so they tried something different, a drive-in restaurant. By 1948, they were printing money, 20 employees, packed parking lots every weekend. They built a mansion with the profits. Then they shut it all down. Competitors thought they'd lost their minds. But behind closed doors, the brothers were building a machine. They analyzed every receipt. 80% of revenue came from hamburgers. So they made a brutal decision. Cut the menu to 5 items: hamburger, cheeseburger, fries, milkshake, Coke, nothing else. Then they did something nobody in America had ever done. They turned their kitchen into an assembly line, drew the layout on their tennis court with chalk, timed every movement like engineers. Each worker did one task, one on the grill, one on fries, one packaging. No skilled chefs, no waitresses. Customers ordered at the window, orders ready in 15 seconds. The speedy service system, machine-like efficiency applied to food. When they reopened, customers sat in their cars waiting for service that never came. But once they understood, they were hooked. Fast, cheap, consistent, perfect every time. And here's where the brothers made their fatal mistake. They gave it all away. Competitors came from across the country. The brothers gave full kitchen tours, free. Burger King copied this blueprint. So did Taco Bell. The brothers were brilliant inventors but terrible businessmen. By 1954, they had the hottest restaurant in California. Low stress, high profit, simple life. They had zero interest in expanding beyond their one perfect location. But 2,400 miles away, a 52-year-old man was running out of time. And when he discovered what the brothers had built, he decided to take everything. What he did next wasn't just ruthless. It was the blueprint for how to legally steal a company, and the brothers never saw it coming. At 52, Ray Kroc was a ghost, a failing salesman with a checkbook full of bounced dreams and a body failing from diabetes. He wasn't looking for a burger, he was looking for a miracle. Ray had spent his entire life grinding. At 15, lied about his age for World War I, came home, dropped out of high school, played piano in dive bars, got married at 20. Piano didn't pay, so he sold paper cups, then milkshake machines called multi-mixers. For years, he drove across America chasing sales. World War II stopped production. He was a salesman with no product, barely survived. After the war, business picked up, but by the 50s, newer machines were crushing him. Ray was 52, diabetic, and broke. Then he spotted something impossible in his sales records. A tiny restaurant in California ordered 8 multi-mixers. Restaurants bought 1, maybe 2. 8 was insane. Ray couldn't let it go. So he drove to San Bernardino, arrived early morning, not impressed at first, just another burger stand. Then lunch hit. 150 people flooded the parking lot in minutes. Ray ordered a burger, got it in seconds. Hot, perfect, clean, efficient, families everywhere. 30 years in business, he'd never seen this. He met the brothers. They showed him everything, the assembly line, the speed, the simplicity. Then they mentioned something that made Ray's heart stop. They were looking for someone to franchise McDonald's across America. They didn't want to do it themselves. Ray's brain caught fire. When you sell a multi-mixer, the customer uses it for 10 years. McDonald's serves thousands of customers every day. This wasn't a restaurant. This was the answer to everything. He couldn't sleep for a week. His imagination tortured him. Finally, he called Richard McDonald. "Have you found anyone to franchise this yet?" "No." "What about me?" In 1955, Ray founded McDonald's System Incorporated. Separate from the brothers' restaurant, the contract was simple. Ray finds locations, recruits operators, collects 1.9% of revenue. But the brothers took 0.5% as royalty. Ray got 1.4%. Any changes required written approval from both brothers. Ray built his first franchise in Illinois. It was spectacular, so impressive that the VP of America's largest franchise quit to work for Ray at a quarter of his salary. But here's the problem. The operators were getting rich. Ray was making almost nothing. For 8 years, Ray didn't take a single dollar in salary. 80-hour weeks. 52 years old, diabetic, building an empire, broke. The brothers refused to renegotiate. Their lawyer told them to never sign anything. Ray was trapped. He was building something massive, but the contract guaranteed he'd never profit. Then his financial guy walked in with an idea that would change everything. This move made McDonald's worth $219 billion today. It's the reason they're not really a burger company. And the brothers had no idea until it was too late. Stop selling burgers. Start owning land. They created Franchise Realty Corporation, a separate company that would buy the land underneath McDonald's restaurants and lease it back to operators. This wasn't bound by Ray's contract with the brothers. Operators would pay either a flat monthly fee or 8.5% of revenue, whichever was higher. Combined with the 1.4% service fee, Ray was now taking almost 10% of every dollar that came through a McDonald's register. But here's the genius move. Operators paid security deposits to build their stores. Ray used that money as down payments on the land. He didn't spend a single cent of his own money. And because Franchise Realty now owned actual real estate, banks threw loans at them. This is the secret. As of January 2026, McDonald's owns $42 billion in real estate. 60% of their revenue doesn't come from food. It comes from rent. While Burger King and Wendy's fought over menu prices, McDonald's was quietly building the largest restaurant real estate portfolio on earth. The brothers were still collecting their tiny royalty, completely unaware Ray was building a different empire underneath them. By 1960, McDonald's had 228 restaurants. Ray was finally making real money. But two things were eating at him. He'd fallen in love with another man's wife, and his hatred for the McDonald brothers was reaching a boiling point. So Ray called them. "I want to buy you out completely. Name your price." Few days later, they called back. $2.7 million. In 1960, that's roughly $28 million today. Massive number. But Ray borrowed from Wall Street. He agreed. Then, the brothers dropped a bomb. They wanted to keep their original San Bernardino restaurant, but they still wanted full price. Ray almost walked. Finally, they agreed the brothers could keep it if they renamed it. Can't call it McDonald's anymore. Ray signed the papers. Now here's where this story enters the shadows. What happened next is the billion-dollar secret. No paper trail, just a handshake. And Ray Kroc knew that in court, a handshake isn't worth the ink it isn't written in. Official story says the deal went smooth. Brothers got their money. Everyone moved on. But Richard McDonald told a very different story before he died. He claimed the brothers wanted to keep their 0.5% royalty as part of the buyout. But Ray said if they wrote it into the contract, insurance companies would charge him a fortune. So Ray allegedly agreed to pay the royalty out of his own pocket. Handshake deal. Nothing on paper. The brothers were nervous, but they'd known Ray for years. They trusted him. Then when payment time came, Ray refused. Never paid a single penny. That 0.5% of McDonald's revenue today would be worth billions of dollars. But there was no paper trail, only a handshake. Ray knew that in court, a handshake isn't worth the ink it isn't written in. He didn't just break a promise, he erased their future. Historians debate whether this handshake deal ever happened. No evidence, no witnesses, no documents. But one thing is absolutely certain. The moment the brothers signed ownership over to Ray, he told one of his employees, "I'm going to get those sons of bitches." And he did. Ray opened a brand new McDonald's directly across the street from the brothers' renamed restaurant. The only purpose was spite, destroy them. It worked. The brothers couldn't compete with a real McDonald's next door. Their dream of keeping their little passion project died. But Ray wasn't finished. He rewrote history, called himself the founder of McDonald's, labeled his Illinois franchise as McDonald's #1. The brothers and their original San Bernardino restaurant were erased from the story completely. Then the woman Ray loved called. Her family threatened to disown her if she left her husband. She told Ray she couldn't marry him. Ray hung up the phone and sat in complete silence. He'd won McDonald's, lost the love of his life. So he doubled down on the only thing he had left, the empire. By 1965, Ray took McDonald's public on the stock market. Stock jumped 60% in weeks. Ray became a multi-millionaire. By the 70s, new CEO Fred Turner was opening 500 stores per year. Burger King was left choking on dust. McDonald's became one of the biggest companies on earth. But Ray Kroc had built something deeper than restaurants. He'd built a culture: win at any cost, take every advantage, never leave money on the table. That culture didn't die with Ray. It metastasized. Decades later, that same ruthless culture manifested in the biggest scandals in fast food history. And it almost destroyed everything Ray built. Late 90s, a former cop and Italian mobsters rigged McDonald's Monopoly game and stole $24 million over 12 years. Jerome Jacobson was the security chief for the company managing McDonald's Monopoly promotion. His job was delivering winning game pieces to stores, but supplier mistake sent extra tamper-proof seals to his house. Jerome realized he could steal winning pieces in the bathroom, replace them with fakes, reseal the envelopes with the extra seals. No evidence. He sold winners to his brother-in-law, his butcher. Then he partnered with Jerry Colombo, an Italian mobster. Jerome stole pieces. Jerry sold them to the Colombo crime family and their network. For over a decade, almost every major McDonald's Monopoly prize went to criminals. Regular customers had zero chance of winning. They didn't know the game was rigged from the inside. Then Jerry Colombo died in a car crash. Jerome cut ties with the mob. In 2000, FBI got an anonymous tip. Many suspect it came from inside the crime family, revenge for Jerome cutting them out. FBI investigated, found most winners connected to Jacksonville, clearly rigged. They wanted to shut it down immediately, but FBI convinced McDonald's to run it one more time. Sting operation. Next million-dollar winner claimed his prize. FBI pretended to be a film crew, asked him questions. He lied smoothly. They left. Seconds later, he called someone bragging. "They bought it! All of it!" Mentioned Jerome's name directly. Had no idea he just confessed to FBI agents with a live wiretap. 50 people convicted. Jerome got 3 years and had to repay millions. McDonald's paid $24 million to scammers, $25 million to random customers to make up for it, $16 million in legal settlements, over $65 million total damage. Ray Kroc's culture of winning at any cost had created an environment where even security chiefs thought they could steal millions and get away with it. But 3 years later, something worse hit. Something that threatened the entire foundation of what McDonald's represented. 2004, filmmaker Morgan Spurlock released Super Size Me. People were suing McDonald's claiming the food made them obese, but they couldn't prove it. They ate other foods too. So Morgan ate only McDonald's for 30 days straight. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If employees offered to supersize, he had to accept the largest option. He thought it would be challenging. He had no idea what was coming. 30 days later, Morgan gained 27 pounds. Cholesterol skyrocketed. Blood pressure through the roof. Depressed most of the time. Heart complications that terrified his doctors. The documentary showed him vomiting after supersize meals, struggling to finish, looking genuinely sick. When it released, McDonald's public image changed forever. 6 weeks later, they removed supersize from the menu, launched Go Active campaign promoting healthier options. They claimed the documentary didn't influence them. Nobody believed it. Here's the stat that matters. In 1960, when McDonald's had 228 restaurants, America's obesity rate was 13%. Today, in 2026, it's over 42%, more than triple. Ray Kroc built a culture that prioritized speed and profit over everything else. That culture gave America cheap fast food, but it also contributed to a national health crisis that's still getting worse. McDonald's is now worth $219 billion, 44,000 restaurants in over 100 countries. 68 million customers walk through those doors every single day. They're planning to hit 50,000 locations by 2027. Every year, McDonald's celebrates Founders Day, honoring Ray Kroc. Not the McDonald brothers who actually invented everything. Not the men who created the assembly line kitchen. Not the innovators who changed how America eats. Richard McDonald died in 1998. He was managing a small movie theater. Maurice died in 1971. Neither brother was invited to McDonald's corporate events. Neither was mentioned in company materials for decades. They got $2.7 million in 1961. Ray built something worth $200 billion. Ray Kroc died in 1984. Billionaire, legend, his face on every documentary, his name in every history book. The brothers invented modern fast food, created the blueprint, built the original machine. Ray Kroc was a desperate salesman who saw an opportunity. He franchised it, exploited a legal loophole through real estate, bought them out, allegedly broke a handshake deal, destroyed their last restaurant, rewrote company history, called himself the founder. The brothers wanted a simple life running one perfect restaurant. Ray Kroc wanted to conquer the world. The brothers were brilliant innovators. Ray Kroc was relentlessly ruthless. So here's the question that matters. You're 52 years old, broke, diabetic, failing at everything you've ever tried. You stumble onto the opportunity of your lifetime, a brilliant system created by two brothers who don't want to expand it. Do you play fair? Do you honor handshake deals? Do you share credit with the people who actually built it? Or do you take everything? Because that's the choice Ray Kroc made. The McDonald brothers died comfortable but not wealthy. They were forgotten by the company they created. Ray Kroc died a billionaire. He's celebrated as a visionary founder. Every year, thousands of people show up to honor him. The brothers invented it. Ray perfected the business model and built the empire. Who made the right choice? Who deserves to be called the founder? I'm not going to tell you what to think, but I want you to really sit with that question, because every massive success story has a price. The McDonald brothers paid it. Ray Kroc collected it. Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you think this story is insane, you need to hear what happened with KFC. Because Colonel Sanders makes Ray Kroc look like an amateur. That man got screwed even harder, fought back even more brutally, and the ending will blow your mind. That video's next. Click it. Hit subscribe if you want more stories that reveal what really happened behind the world's biggest companies. The truth is always darker and more interesting than the legend. I'll see you in the next one.